So for the first piece of this function, we're going to start by plugging in 0. When you plug in 0, you get 0. Okay, so that means we have a point at 0, 0. Because it says x is less than 0, okay, so when x is less than 0, looking at that interval, that's our domain. 0 is not included in that domain, so it's going to be an open circle at 0, 0.
Yes.
And then you need to plug in another point to see where the rest of the line is going. The second point you choose should be anything less than 0. Anything in this interval. So -1, -2, -3, -4, -5. You could pick -5.7, but I don't recommend it. Okay, if I pick -1, I get -2. That's included in this interval, so it's a regular solid point. Okay, so right here, you have a regular solid point. The rest of the line is going to continue to the left here, because it's going to continue for values of x that are smaller than 0. So like -2, and so on. This is our line. And then for the middle piece, this is a constant function. What's a constant function?
Doesn't change.
Doesn't change. So it looks like
Just five
lines. Looks like a straight horizontal line. They're all straight. Straight horizontal line, okay? Constant, doesn't change, it means it has no slope. It means that the slope is 0. Slope is the rate of change. So if it's unchanging, it doesn't have a rate of change. That's what makes it do this. So it's just going to look like a horizontal line going through 5. But we can't just do a horizontal line going through all of 5, because then it's not a function. We only want it to go from x is 0 to x is 2.
To 1.
So this is where x is 0. This is where x is 2. We only want this part of the line.
So why do you put an open circle?
Because if you look at just this part,
Yeah.
2 is not included.
2 is not included.
Oh.
So that interval is 0, 2, not including 2. It is including 0. Alright, then we got one more piece.
Like I understand.
No, I don't have the thing, so I can't do it.
So for 3, you are including 2. Okay? So plug in 2, that'll be a solid point. So if you plug in 2, okay, you should get -3. That means you have a point at 2, -3. This is 2, 1, 2, 3, including that point. Then choose another point, something bigger than 2. Anything bigger than 2. But I usually just pick the next number. So pick 3. You get -6 plus 1, which is -5. Means you have another point at 3, -5. The rest of your line is going to go to the right, towards values bigger than 2. So for example, where 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 are over here. Questions?
No.
Let's do another one. First piece, it says, like, if you get rid of function notation, it says y equals -3x. You should know what that looks like. Okay, y equals -3x is a direct variation function, which means it goes through the origin and it has a negative slope. So it goes like this. And we don't want that whole line, we just want a piece of it. So to figure out where it starts, we pick this point and plug it in. And that gives us 6, which is all the way up here. It's including -2, because it says or equal to -2, so we put a solid point there. Then we have to choose something smaller than -2, because it says x is less than or -2, or less than or equal to -2 for that piece. So things smaller would be things to the left, -3, -4, -5, not -1. So -3 would put us at +9, which is going to go off my thingy a little bit. So like this is 8, 9, something like that. connect your first point to your second point. Okay,
I
it
did
should
my
go,
wrong.
Oh, okay, so
it
you
should
did
go
it
to
right.
the left.
I don't get how I did my wrong. Bro.
Okay, to the left, because it's gonna go smaller.
To the left, to the left.
Then you got your second piece, which is, if you rewrite it without function notation, it just looks like y equals x. That's another direct variation equation. It's gonna go through the origin. It has a slope of 1, so it's positive. It's gonna look something like this. We don't want the whole line, we just want part of the line. So to find out what part of the line, we can take the beginning and the end of the domain and substitute those in for x and see where those are in the y direction. So if you plug in -2, you just get -2. So you have a point at -2, -2. When you plug in 3, you're gonna get 3. So you have a point at 3, 3. That doesn't mean it's a horizontal line, it just means that x and y are the same value. It's still gonna slant. The 2 is not included, so the -2, 2 is open, but the 3 is included, so 3, 3 is solid. So see how it's still slanted. Okay, and then the last equation, again, if we rewrite it without function notation, looks like y equals -1. Y equals -1 is a horizontal line going through -1. We can't graph the whole thing. We just want to graph a piece of it. We want to graph the piece that has x values greater than 3. So we don't want this, we don't want this. We want 3 and onward, not including 3.
Oh, so the ones that are and, like the